Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining ATD's first demo day of 2025. I'm Alexandria Clapp, the Senior Content Manager for Learning Technologies and Sciences at ATD, and I will be your moderator today. Before we get started, I'm excited to share that ATD's Technology TK conference is just a couple of weeks away. We've reimagined the conference experience where you can create a personalized journey tailored to your unique goals and challenges. You will get to choose from thoughtfully curated agendas that align to TK personas, all to help you navigate a customized experience at TK. So, whether you're focused on future proofing your organization, AI use cases, tech implementation, or fostering engagement, you'll get dedicated time to connect with industry rockstars, vendors, and peers to tackle your goals head on. And there are special discounts for teams, lots of additional learning opportunities like pre conference workshops, all focused on AI, and so much more. So, if you are looking for some innovative, interactive experiences that you haven't seen at a conference or anywhere else before, you can learn more about TK at techknowledge.td.org. You can scan the barcode. And I'm also going to drop in a little link in the chat for anyone who wants to learn more about that event coming up really soon in February. All righty. And now let's focus on today's event, Demo Day, Find Your Next LMS. This is one of our most popular requested events, so we're so excited to kick off our third Demo Day focused all about LMSs today. We're really excited to see live demos today from 5 leading learning management system providers. And these 30-minute demos will give you an opportunity to learn more about each of the providers, see a little of their platforms in action, and ask your burning questions. So, whether you're in the market for a new LMS or you're looking to stay current on the latest suppliers and features, we hope today's demo day helps you learn about the benefits of a variety of options all at once. And I'd like to take a huge thank you to today's sponsors, Skooks, SeerTech, IMC, Learnupon, and Litmos. Thank you for being part of this event and providing such a wonderful opportunity for all of our attendees to learn more about learning management systems. A couple of quick logistical items before we get started with our first demo today. Our speakers plan to keep you very engaged, so if you would like to interact with them and our fellow participants throughout the demos, be sure to select everyone in the chat box. Sometimes it might be hovering on host and panelists. Not everyone can see that, so let's practice right now. Select everyone. Tell us where you're tuning in from if you haven't already, and what are you looking forward to learning about today? I see Maggie and Eric have already said hello. Erica, Danny, lots of different places people are tuning in from. Hi, Candace. Hello, Evan. Awesome, guys. Great. And folks are looking forward to just seeing what kind of technology our providers are showing for us today. Great. So we will have time for Q&A during each of the demos. We'll save any new or unanswered questions to be addressed during those times. And keep in mind that we've built in 15-minute breaks after each demo to give you time to stretch your legs, brain break, go to the bathroom before the next demo starts. And I think those are all of my quick housekeeping items. I see some more responses coming in. Thank you all for introducing yourself, for sharing what you're interested to learn about today. I think we are ready to go. So now I'm very pleased I'm going to, in a moment, introduce our first demo with Skooks. Skoos's demo today is Deliver High-Impact Learning Experiences to Frontline Teams. And here to guide you through the first demo, we have David Wentworth, VP of Learning and Talent Development at Skooks, and Tim Welsh, the Senior Solution Consultant at Skooks. I'm going to pass it over to Tim and Dave to take it away for us today.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we're very happy to sort of be the first group to share with you guys today. I'm very happy to be joined by Tim, one of our best here to walk you through some of this. And I saw in the chat, everyone's sharing where they are and stories about how cold it is. And I'm here in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I believe it's in the 50s. So I wore long sleeves. So I'm right there with you all, commiserating. So yeah, today Tim and I want to talk a little bit about the very specific aspect of the LMS, and that is reaching out to these frontline teams, these frontline employees. And what do we mean by that? Well, for our specific session today, what I'm referring to is very often in industries like retail, restaurants, manufacturing. These are these sort of deskless workers. They're not sitting in that office space in the cubicle with a machine in front of them all day, a computer. Instead, they're on their feet. They're doing the work, and very often they are literally the front line, right, between the brand, the company, and the customer. It's a very unique set of learners that we're talking about, and require certain types of technology and approaches to make sure everything's effective. And this means so much to us because we focus a lot in this area, and I'm going to share with you some of the research that we've done around this and why our LMS is so well focused in this area. If you're not familiar with Skooks, there's a little bit about us. We've been around for quite a while, since 2012. We're very pleased with our customer satisfaction and retention rates, as well as the fact that we've got learners all over the world, with thousands of different clients using our platform. So sort of dig into what we're talking about here, that frontline experience and why it's so important. We ran a study last year focused on these industries and took a look at both what the employers in this industry were doing and thinking about learning and training delivery, as well as what the employees were thinking about when it came to this kind of training. So some of the high level things that we found, we asked specifically of the employees, are you planning on leaving your job within the next 6 months? And we all know these frontline jobs, these industries tend to be pretty high turnover when compared to others, right? So it's a legitimate question to ask and sort of get a handle on, because that's one of the big things these companies are trying to solve, is this retention issue. So when we looked at these employees who said, yeah, you know what, I'm probably going to look for another job here in the next 6 months or so, we then wanted to see, well, what are the things that they're experiencing from a training standpoint? Is that having any impact on that? So we found that among those that said they were going to leave, 50% of them said the limited training access was one of the contributing factors, right? So there's this idea that, look, I'm out here, I'm trying to do this job. I don't have the tools that I need to get it done. I feel like I'm sort of floundering. Maybe it's time to move on. So the idea that we need to do better at putting the knowledge and training in their hands when and where they need it. They often felt like 2.5 times more likely to say that they didn't have enough support from their supervisors, right? So then compared to those that were going to stick around with the company. And the other one was that 33% said that they're limited access to practice these skills, right? So you think about it, in these frontline environments, we push out all this training. Here's what you need to know. Here you go. And then just sort of say, go ahead and do it. Here's the knowledge. Here are the skills. Get out there and get it done, with no ability to sort of, okay, is this really going to work? How does it work? So we need to figure out ways to build in more time for practice. So this is some of the high level learning. Some of the things we also found too, and we're going to make sure that everybody can find where this some of the results from this study are, if you want to connect with us later. But we asked, and it's funny to see the contrast between what employees think and what employers think about some of these things. What are the challenges, right? So there's time constraints. I think both groups agree that there are time constraints in that environment for training. You've got hourly employees, which they need to be trained on the clock. So that creates challenges for companies. And then just within that workflow, which is very fast paced, how do we fit the training in to make sure that people are getting what they need? We mentioned about the limited practice. I think one of the interesting ones to me is this technology barrier, or perceived technology barrier, where the employers felt like that was a challenge, right? At least to a larger degree than the employees did. So the employees don't see technology as a challenge. They're like, give it to me. I'm ready. I understand technology. Most of the folks in these industries, in this demographic, tend to be somewhat digitally native and can handle whatever technology we may throw at them. So I think employers need to maybe change their thinking around what kinds of technology they're bringing to these teams. And then sort of the last bit that I want to sort of leave you with before we get into why our tool is designed for these environments. When we asked the workers, hey, do you feel like your company is invested in you as an employee? And so those employers that were rated highly for that say yes, they are investing in their frontline workers, we found that there were sort of three standouts about these companies, three characteristics. One, they prioritize career mobility. So almost from day one, you come in as a new hire. It's not just here's the new job that you have, here's how to do it. It's here are the opportunities that await you if you desire. You can go on all these different career paths if you stay with us. That's huge for the retention and for the engagement for these workers. The next thing was they prioritize the collaborative learning, right? You've got sort of these teams. I think most of these environments, they call the employees when they work together teams. They work together. They need to rely on one another on a daily basis. So the idea that they shouldn't be learning in isolation, they should be learning together. So more collaborative learning is another thing that stands out among these organizations. And then for us, the big one is we ask them about the technology that they're using. And when the employer uses the LMS for driving performance, right? To build and develop workers, to give them the skills they need to grow them, as opposed to simply saying, here's the training you need to have, here are the compliance issues we need to solve, do it, and now I can track it. So it's less of a transactional tool and more of a developmental tool. Those companies, when they're more developmental in the way they use their technology, they get much higher ratings as far as how much they're investing in their frontline employees. And we live and breathe in that space. We're all about the sort of development part of learning and development. And our tool is designed very much to build on that, especially in this frontline area. And so I want to turn things over to my colleague, Tim, who's going to walk us through how that looks, what it looks like, some of the things you can do in the tool for these particular audiences. And so, Tim, I'll turn it over to you and take it away.
Thanks, Dave. All right, share my screen now. Thanks, folks, for giving us an opportunity to talk with you today. Some of the concerns out of the survey that Dave was just talking about. Skooks, I think, has got great solutions to resolve those problems. And I want to start first by talking about mobile. We'll talk about it a little bit, then we'll come back to it. Skooks was actually built first to work on mobile. And we've got, I think at this point, millions of people that are using mobile today. Why is that? Because it provides simple and easy access. Most people understand the technology on mobile devices. We do provide an app, an iOS or Android. This is just an example of somebody that is a manager, but the training is also front and center. So just in a couple clicks, they're able to quickly get to the training and access it or download it if they need to. They're also able to look at things that are engaging, like gamification or leaderboards, to see who's in first and who's not in first around completing training. So there's also capabilities around career pathing. And with career pathing, it really gives you the opportunity as an employee to look at where you're at today and to look at where you might want to go in the future. And there's a number of other things that mobile brings as well. But as I like to say, everybody knows how to use a mobile phone. It seems like they're comfortable with apps, and it's a simple and easy way to get training out. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about just the Skooks experience. It's really built with the learner in mind. It's really built to improve things like onboarding, um, to really enhance employee engagement with gamification or leaderboards, and then also to develop skills through things like microlearning, which is something new to Skooks, which is really cool. We'll build a microlearning course here. And if you looked at any of the stats around microlearning, it's really exciting. Folks are actually preferring that over the traditional learning that we've seen today. But just to kind of cover what the platform kind of outlines from the homepage, someone like Sophia, if she's new, when she lands here right away, she's able to see the training that she needs to take care of. She's able to see when it's done. Um, she may want to move this to the top of the screen so she can see when things are overdue. Over on the left, we've got a couple what we call workspaces. We've got the learner workspace that'll take her to all things learning. We've got social, which will take us to gamification and leaderboards. I'm just going to pull up a couple of those quickly to get you excited. There's some really cool games that you can actually create yourself within Skooks. to really see kind of who's doing what, who are the leaders, who are the people that are completing or interacting with the system the most, as well as leaderboards. And we happen to see that Sophia is in first. Those are all things that can be delivered to the learner, as well as a number of other roles in Skooks. On the right, you're able to see maybe some of the different levels that people are moving through in their gamification. And again, it's something to get folks excited, to create a sense of competition. And also when it comes to badging, a great way to tell people thanks for for their effort in the training. I'm going to quickly go to this course. It's been assigned to Sophia, and she's going to complete this. This is an example of a course that you can assemble in Skooks. Now, you can build microlearning, but if you don't have any courses, of course, we have a marketplace and you're able to get content there. We've got over 20,000 courses there that you could select from. But here, I've taken the time to take some of my own content, a PDF, a PowerPoint, a video, a checklist, and actually create a course for somebody that's part of the onboarding experience. What you're seeing now is the Skooks. This is what we call the theater mode. It is an immersive learning experience that lets you do a couple things that I've not seen in my 20 plus years working with LMSs. So I'm going to start here with this course. Sophia, the first thing she needs to do is she needs to read the code of conduct document. Now, whether it's this document or anything that is out there, if she finds a part of this that she's particularly interested in, she's going to have the ability to highlight this and actually take notes. So she's highlighting this section. As soon as she releases her mouse button, she's going to be able to save this to, and this is going to be note number 1. So throughout this document and other documents, she's going to be able to take snippets of either the document, or if we change gears here to a video, she's going to be
you and your friends safe and healthy. And don't forget, Whole Foods and left.
What I just did there was I have the ability to actually take a snippet out of a video. So if there's a specific part of the training that speaks to me, I'm going to pull it out first, and I'm going to save this. So effectively, what we've done is we've taken kind of a cliff notes here as an employee from some of the different pieces of content around what's we feel is important to us. Now, there's definitely other things that we can do that I think make us unique. Video exams are one of those. And with that, you've got the ability here to actually place a video in Skooks, layer questions on top of it to get people excited.
Proper installation for
that is, namely, I'm showing it today because if you don't have content, but you do have videos, or if you'd like to record a video on your mobile device, on your phone, you can actually upload it into Skooks, put the questions on top of it. So what I'm kind of talking about is some of the tactical strategies that you can use to get great learning into the Skooks LMS. Job-based OJTs are what we call on-the-job training evaluations. You're going to have the ability to put together in Skooks. And with that, we're just going to take a look here that Sophia, she has completed this, and perhaps the manager will come behind her and he will check off on all of these items to validate what she has completed in the system. And then there can be a sign off of her name, and then this can be tracked. So a lot of compliance industries, hospitality industries, manufacturing, you name it, even sales teams use the job training checklist, the OJTs as we call those, as part of their learning. And then we can also factor in things like virtual learning or instructor-led, and we can finish with something like a knowledge exam. And with our knowledge exams, I think one of the great parts about this is that you've got the ability to do question level analysis. So it's not just about taking a quiz or taking a test. It's about really knowing and understanding how people are doing when they take that. And do you need to change your teaching methodology? So quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a micro learning. And I'm just going to open this up to let you get a quick view of this. And we're going to launch this. And so Skooks uses and can use AI to create micro learnings. And I just literally put this one together about a half hour before our demo. And this one has got to do with workplace safety. All that I had to do was provide to AI a title, some keywords, or some specific topics. And I would tell it how many questions I wanted, how many quizzes I wanted in this, how many pages I wanted it to be long. And it went out there and it actually produced this. So you are not forced to use AI with the microlearning capability, but it can certainly give you a great head start. And it's, if you've looked at any of the research around microlearning, they say that 80% of employees prefer microlearning over top of the traditional learning. And then also when it comes to test results and retention, there's definitely a big uptick in the retention. Now, one thing that you're not seeing here is that after I've completed the microlearning, I have the ability to schedule as an administrator or an instructor to schedule questions or quizzes from the microlearning to the employee. So let's say I've just completed this, and a week from now, I get one of the quizzes is sent to me. So if you know anything about what they call spaced repetition and learning, that's something that we're able to practice here with the Skooks microlearning. But again, just it's a great tool to use. There's a lot of excitement around it, and there's lots of different applications that you can utilize for Skooks, the Skooks microlearning.
Hey, Tim.
Yep.
I want to ask a couple questions that came in, like, because you were just talking about these recently, but about the notes you were mentioning, right? Are the
Yes.
learners, where are they able to see the notes? Do they need to return to the course, or are they visible elsewhere?
Right here on the homepage, my annotations is where all the notes would be. They would populate kind of this swim lane. So there is a section in Skooks where they would actually reside. They could also return to the course and they would see them there. So if they go back to the course, they'd be like, "Oh, there's the notes that I took. Let me read those. What was I thinking?" I hope that
Yeah.
answers the question.
Yeah. Okay. And then just one more is about the checklist, right? Can the learner complete their own checklist, or is a manager required to check off the tasks, or can you set that up either way?
Sure. So yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah.
Um, an individual could complete their own. They could be required to complete their own, just checking off items that I've taken care of and that I'm done with. But what I'm showing you here with mobile is we're going to go to a sign off by a manager on a mobile device. And here let's find Sophia. There she is. And Sophia has, whoops, I'm going to go to her. Let's go to her checklist. And Sophia she has completed her checklist. And as soon as she does, and the manager or the trainer needs to sign off on this, they can receive a notification. And with that, what's going to happen is the tasks are going to come up on this page. The trainer or the manager is going to check off on each of these items. As they do that, they're also going to be able to take notes here, select different performance levels. Like, yes, she completed the task, but she still requires more training. Or you see here, evaluation document at the bottom, you can actually record and upload a video of her performing a specific task and then sign off on it. So you're validating, yes, she completed the task. Here's an example of her doing it. And here's my signature as a trainer, validating that she's completed it. Hope that answers the question.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep, great. Oh, and one of the other things too, now that we're on mobile, and again, mobile from the manager's perspective it's awesome because quickly and easily I can look at the number of people that I have working for me. I can pull up a quick dashboard when I'm in the field. I'm able to look at curriculums that they're working on, and I'm able to see really the who's done and who's not with all that. So simple and easy to get to. One of the other things that we do is we have a capability called QR codes. And with the QR code capability, I'm just going to pull it up here. What this is an example of, let's say, you have got some safety training or how to operate a specific piece of equipment. You actually, you place that on the piece of equipment. And what could happen is if I have the app loaded, I would be able to come up and actually scan the QR code. And if this is some sort of training that I need to take or I would need to complete, what's going to happen is actually going to pull up the training on my mobile device and allow me to complete it. So that's a little bit about QR codes, mobile, some of the cool things that we're doing with. So there it is. It pulled the training up that you would need maybe before you need to operate a particular piece of equipment. Okay. Back to the learner experience a little bit. So quickly, the training experience also provides you with the ability to for self-service. And when I say that, you're going to be able to go to the catalog, and this is where the personalization comes in. You're going to be seeing recommendations that are specific to you. You'll be able to see training that's popular, training that's specific, training that has to do with skills that you have, or let's say, because we do support skills, goals, and performance reviews, and we tie learning to skills, we're able to see training that if I complete the training can actually help me or actually raise my skill levels. And then when it comes to career, which we're going to talk about just shortly here, these are types of training that can actually help me prepare for that next level. We support instructor-led as well as ILT, and it's very easy to register for any of that. And so with just a couple clicks, you're able to see what the event is all about. In one click, I'm able to register it. We're going to integrate with most calendars that you would have out there. And so you receive the notification and it's going to drop right on your calendar. But let's say that Sophia has been here for a while, over a year. She wants to see what's available for her. She knows where she's at today. She wants to look at where she could possibly go. And this is called a career map. And much like any other map, it's a great place to see where you are today and where you can possibly go and how long the journey would be. So she is a team member. She aspires to be maybe a restaurant manager or a regional or district manager. That's a long journey. But here, when she goes to restaurant manager, with one click, she's able to see in depth skills that she has, different skill levels, in the role that she's in today, as well as the role that she aspires to be in. And with all of this, she's able to come here and to look at an overview of training that she could take that could help her to prepare for that next role. Now, there's other matrices and graphs that you can see here that show you really kind of the clear-cut distance between the skills she has today and the skills that she's going to need for that position. But this is something that it's generating a lot of excitement with our customers. They really like the view that they get here when folks go looking for job roles that could be maybe the next step for them. Also, we include something called coaching, and we don't hear this talked about a lot when it comes to professional development or training. But here, Sophia has got coaching sessions that have been scheduled by her manager or by her coach, and she has the ability here to take a look at what's going to be discussed in those coaching sessions. So build a form to be able to kind of standardize the coaching process and have coaches or managers or trainers schedule those sessions with the individual, and then have the ability to save all of this as part of a record or historical record. One more thing before we move off of the learner. Skooks, we'll look at the gamification and leaderboards, which really, whether it's a badge, whether it's a leaderboard or it's a game, it's all about giving people points for things that they do. And it could be a leaderboard is a great example of something where you can set up the leaderboard, you can target a specific audience, so it can be specific to the audience. And so you could say, for this particular department, here's the leaderboard that we're creating. It's got to do with completing compliance training that's due by the end of the year. So you're targeting some specific courses, some specific people, and you're able to really dictate the number of points that they receive. That's kind of how it would all work together. Just quickly, the neat thing about the knowledge profile on the ePortfolio tab and Skooks is this, which is you have the ability to really, at a granular level, take a look at what Sophia has been working on over the last year, so she can see all the different categories and kind of where she is headed. If we kind of finish up right here on the Gaming Center, as I mentioned, we've got leaderboards, and as I mentioned, leaderboards are all about looking at engagement with the system and ensuring that Sophia, she's able to see the number of points that she's accumulated through all her activities, could be completing courses, enrolling in courses, scheduling courses, any or all of those things could give her points. Those points would take her from level to level or grant her specific places on the leaderboard. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition to we're going to build some microlearning really quickly here. So with Skooks, you've got the ability to use AI to build microlearning. I built a couple here. And the course that I'm going to create is going to be just that. It's going to be microlearning. So if I come here and give it a title, and I'm just going to use this as the description. And we're going to look at microlearning and how it works. We will pick a language. We'll pick a training category we want this to sit in. How long do we want it to be? We're not going to necessarily provide any tags. We want this to be something relatively short. So let's say 15 cards for an industry, educational, and question cards. We want 4 quizzes. Stat cards, we want 4 of those. Tone of voice, we want it to be informative. So that's all the information that I provided. I'm going to go to create course, and it's going to go out there. This will take just a few seconds to generate the microlearning. Once it does, you're going to have the option to go and actually edit any of the cards. Cards are going to be the informative pages of content, as well as the quizzes. So here it is, finishing up here with the number of cards. And then what we're going to do, we're going to save this. We're going to have the opportunity to put it in a library. So it could sit in a library, in the catalog rather, or you could assign it. So there it is. And I want to preview this for you. So you can now see all the content, everything that it's discussing. You can see all the quizzes that are available. And we're just going to do a quick preview. And then what we could do, as I mentioned, we could actually assign this to somebody. Whoops. Oh, we forgot to save this. We're going to save it. Now we're going to preview it. It wasn't quite ready yet. So here's all the pages. Much like the microlearning we looked at a little bit earlier. Now, this microlearning can be associated with skills or competencies in Skooks, and you would have the ability to send those values of how well people did with the microlearning, whether they passed or, I guess, failed, or you'd be able to look up specific microlearnings based upon those capabilities. I think we're about out of time, and I'm gonna wrap it up, and I'm gonna stop for a second and see if anyone has got questions. Any questions coming in, Dave?
Oh yeah, there's lots. Let's go back a little bit and see an interesting one here about would different branches of the company be able to have their own training, right? So you've got one company but with different locations. Can you localize the content and the experience?
You can. This is an example of a company hierarchy, maybe some different restaurants that's part of our restaurant group. Absolutely. A large complex hierarchy is something that Skooks does a great job in handling, and decentralizing permissions and capabilities is also something we do a great job at. So maybe if it's 4 brands, each one of those would have their own content, their own courses, and then you'd be able to report on it that way.
All right. Then a question about leaderboards. Can you configure those, right? Because the question is it for everyone in the organization, or can they be limited to specific teams and audiences?
It can be very targeted.
Yeah.
You can be very specific about the team. So yes, you can, and the courses that they're taking and how they generate points. So the answer is yes.
Yeah. There are a few questions around AI, and some of them, they might be a little bit too in depth for right here about, making sure the content is copyrighted, and how do we cite, or do we need to disclose that it's AI if you're building the course? Right now at this stage, the AI is simply assembling existing things that you already have access to, the content pieces, the parts that already exist. It's not creating anything out of whole cloth, sort of like these AI generated videos. So there's nothing there that you have to sort of say, hey, by the way, this is AI. It's simply speeding up the process of pulling together all the different content pieces. So if you already have access to it and the material's already, yours or copyrighted, or you have license to it, that's the only thing it's going to be accessing. Another one, FedRAMP, not at the moment. We're not a FedRAMP yet. Another one around, yeah, the external platform used to generate AI content. So yeah, there's a lot of questions about AI. And of course, these questions are some of them get pretty in depth. Please feel free to reach out to us. But right now, again, we're not creating, it's not necessarily AI generated content, more as though AI assisted content creation, if that makes sense. And then I answered some of these other ones. Let's see if we get down here. Is there a PC version? Yes, of course. We are mobile first, but clearly this will work on any machine that you want to run it on. So I think we need to wrap it up. We're going to keep track of all these questions and try to reach out to people and get back to you as we can, but we need to make some space for the next few demos. So thank you so much.
Yeah, if you guys still have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll be saving this whole chat and the Skooks team will follow up with you. Huge thank you to Dave and Tim for kicking off today's LMS event. Everyone go take a quick short break. We will be starting right at 12:45 Eastern time for our second demo of the day with SeerTech. I will see you all again shortly. Thanks again to Skooks for kicking us off today. Welcome back, everyone. I'm very pleased to introduce today's second demo of the day with SeerTech. Supercharge business results through structured hard skills curation. We have Scott Money, Chief Strategy Officer of SeerTech Solutions, here to guide us through his demo. And we have Young from the SeerTech team. He's going to be here in the chat to help answer questions. And I'm just going to go ahead and pass it right over to you, Scott. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Looking forward to today's session. So thanks everyone for joining us. I'm just going to, there you go, sneak peek of what we're going to be doing a little bit later on. Yeah, look, there's been a lot of talk in the industry, a lot of buzz in the industry around skills. And it's interesting when we look at stats on terms of skills focus. Over 90% of the investment in sort of skills development for organizations is based on soft skills development. Less than 10% is actually been on hard skills development, and certainly structured investment that is in structured hard skills development. So that actually has a big impact on business success. And one of the reasons why we've focused our technology, or a part of our technology, on supporting hard skills development is really about addressing some of the downstream issues that occur when there isn't enough focus put on structuring hard skills development or even validation in organizations. So, and we've seen some significant benefit from being able to focus on structuring hard skills in organizations. And that's really supercharged the impact that it's had on the business. And certainly it's been a big success. And we'll talk more about some of those metrics towards the end. But looking forward to going through this and really talking about how we look at skills development, and in particular, how we look at hard skills development, and then we operationalize that and systemize that through our application. All right, so before we start talking about skills, let's be clear on at least SeerTech's view on skills, or my view on skills. And if we think about skills, it's really representing the potential that you have, your ability to perform certain tasks. So, I can ski, I have the potential to ski because we've got 2 arms, 2 legs, and some form of, spatial orientation I have when skiing down a hill. But until I demonstrate that, it's not really something that I can say I have or have performed. So when we look at skills, we're really looking at skills that prove the value of the ability that I have through demonstration, and not only demonstration, but evaluation through assessment. And typically the people that are evaluating those skills, or your level of skill, are people that already at least have that level of skill or higher, because they know what they're looking for. They know what they're validating. And that's important when we look at skills, because when we're developing skills, we're really developing 2 types of skills. We're developing soft skills, which are typically more of those transferable skills. They're not necessarily related back to just one industry or one use case. They're much more interpersonal than than other skills. And examples are things like verbal communication, leadership, negotiation. They're all examples of soft skills. And as I mentioned before, that's where most of the investment for organizations is going, is to building those taxonomies and applying those taxonomies to your workforce. However, on the other side of the coin is the hard skills. And interestingly enough, most of your workforce, over 80% of your workforce, are frontline workers, or at least in a global workforce perspective. And the hard skills are what they use to be able to perform their jobs or tasks. And those hard skills are shaped by soft skills in order to be able to deliver on the business objectives that you have as a business and their objectives that they have at a sort of task or function level. So hard skills are what we're going to focus on today, because it's one of those areas that doesn't typically have a lot of investment for organizations or even in systems, but is really critical to ensuring ongoing performance at the operational level and then rolling up into overall business results. So when we look at hard skills, and it is shaped by soft skills. So I look at soft skills as being the enabler for hard skills to be effectively applied. So hard skills are applied based on soft skills, like leaders will get the most out of their employees that have hard skills in order for them to apply those for maximum impact. And then surrounding that is what we call the training bubble. And that's different ways in which you can acquire or improve those skills. And a lot of that is through informal or on-the-job training, which is great because it's easy to do, but also brings with it some negatives. So from a skills perspective, there are positive impactors like aptitude and motivation, but there are also things which require skills to constantly be curated. So frequency of use of those skills or changes in the environment that those skills are applied, they require you to either relearn skills or to update your skills to align. But ultimately, it's from this ecosystem that we end up with the ability to apply skills that have a personal impact. So the more skilled I am, the more invested I am. The more invested I am, the more likely I am to be successful in the organization and stay. But they also have big impacts on business, and we'll talk more about some of those impacts a bit later on. But for us, it's really the alignment of those skills that are required in order to achieve business goals with what you actually have. That's really critical, because if you don't have that understanding of what you have versus what you need, then you really are running your business based on hope, and hope is not a strategy. So our focus on hard skills development is really about identifying what skills do we need versus what do we actually have, and then providing a rapid path for development and validation of those skills to ensure that we continue to support a positive flow of work or positive control of work all the way through a work process. So if we talk about skills demonstrating, your abilities and performing that level of competency, we've got many different ways in which we support that today. And so from our application, we really do look at skills holistically. So it's not just about soft skills development or hard skills development. It's about many different ways in which you can acquire skills, many different ways in which you can manage those skills, and many different ways in which you can validate that I have those skills. And so really the modalities of learning, we support all of these modalities of learning, and some are better for soft skills development and others are better for hard skills development. And ingesting or managing skills models, whether it be from Workday Skills Cloud, or it might be your own taxonomy that you're looking to apply, it could be from TechWolf, or it could be from anywhere. We are able to apply those taxonomies to different modalities of learning in order for you to be able to achieve your skills goals at the personal level, but also at the organizational level. And today we're going to focus on this one, which is our OJT 3 for hard skills. And the 3 comes from plan, execute, and prove. So plan, so determine whether we have the right skills for the right tasks, for the right location, shift, etc. Execute, when I realize that, okay, I've got some skills gaps there based on my planning, then executing on the training plan. And then the proving is through validation of those skills, sign off on those skills, and refreshing those skills at regular intervals. And then obviously the dashboarding and reporting that comes out the back end of that. And that's important for ensuring consistent application of skills development for consistent results at the business level. So this is really going into my stat slide. I always have a stat slide before we get into the demo. And it really talks about the importance of systemizing those skills. And as I mentioned before, most of the global workforce is made up of frontline workers, and they generate most of the revenue. But it's interesting, that third bullet point down, the 60% of financial misses can be traced to quality of frontline workers. And as frontline workers are trained predominantly through tribal knowledge sharing, sort of on the job, 80% of that variability can be traced back to that training process. So it is costing a lot of money. It's costing you performance. It's also costing you workers, because workers who aren't trained, workers who aren't certified well, they tend to leave, right, or go somewhere else. So that has a big impact on your business. So if we think about tribal knowledge sharing, the challenge with tribal knowledge sharing, or at least addressing the challenges of tribal knowledge sharing, is that people don't want to change, right? And this cartoon pretty much illustrates that, where you've got somebody representing a change and innovation that can benefit, but everyone's too busy to adopt it because they're happy just doing what they're doing. And yes, you can drag a bunch of rocks with square wheels, but you're never going to get to where you need to efficiently, effectively, or without tiring your workforce. So the old way is not the best way. And the last slide before we get into the demo is really, what are we trying to do? Well, if we think about OJT and we think about training in general, one of the challenges is time to learn. How long does it take to get you to a performance level where you are effective and efficient? And unstructured on-the-job training, which is typically conducted through tribal knowledge sharing practices, that has a real impact on your ability to scale training or scale your workforce. So the goal of structuring on-the-job training is really about reducing how long it takes to train somebody to that same performance level, but do it consistently so that you can ensure that you get the same results every single time. And that has significant time and cost savings. I mean, we're seeing that time and cost saving even in excess of these numbers, where we're looking at, if you can train people 4 to 6 times faster, then not only are you training that individual faster, but the people that are training them, the people that are auditing them, the people that are supervising them, can also then apply more of their time to production and less of their time to training. So that means that you can actually scale not only your training, because you could apply those people back into training more people, but you can also apply that time back into productivity measures. And that's important for overall business performance. So how do we do that? It's pretty straightforward. There's a training plan. So it's interesting how many organizations train their people with actually a consistent training plan. So providing a training plan that is aligned to standard operating procedures or work instruction documents, it's really about providing a consistent way in which people can train and be trained to procedures or processes that are standardized within your business. The next part of it is really about proving or providing evidence and proving that somebody has been trained. And that's really important for not just audit purposes, but to ensure consistency of the training and consistency of the knowledge transfer. And so the knowledge test, being optional, is the ability to sort of verify and understand the concepts you've learned. The skills evaluation conducted by an assessor or an auditor is really about saying that person has actually been trained and trained effectively. And that skills evaluation, it being conducted by a separate party to the trainer, provides additional checks and balances in terms of the overall approach to training and the efficacy of training. And then finally, we have the sign-off piece, which is something that the manager or supervisor will do. And that's to ensure that, yes, the training and the evaluation has been conducted with a level of efficacy in alignment with what is required and what is set as part of the standardized knowledge and skills transfer. And that is then subject to refresher, which then, every so often, so it might be every year or whatever the period is, rather than going through the whole process again, automating the process for re-evaluation and re-sign off, because we want to make sure that that person is still valid for their training and still valid for changes in the procedures potentially, or they haven't atrophied in terms of their skill level. So all of this is part of our framework that we use for managing OJT. All right, enough of the PowerPoint slide, let's actually now, well, we'll go back to that. Let's get into the demo. So here is our system, CTech Learning. And as part of CTech Learning, you have different screens and different roles and different personas and different dashboards. And in this case, we're looking at a supervisor. So Brian's supervisor, he's responsible for a whole bunch of people that are reporting into him in his shift. And one of the key things I can see on this screen is this dashboard here, which is the current OJT certifications below minimum, which means that here are certifications where I mean a minimum number of people that are certified for this shift, but yet I don't have enough people that are current and certified for that shift. So by clicking on view, this gives me a visualization of how many certifications are below minimum for this shift. So part of the data set that we're capturing in our system is what shifts are there for certain locations, what OJTs are there for certain shifts, and then how many people are required to be certified and current for that shift and certification combination. And that's all managed in our system. So that data may be ingested from elsewhere, but is managed in our system for the purposes of ensuring that we're able to either see or prompt the ability for the supervisor to address any issues with current or even coming due certification minimums. So in this case, I've got 2. I can see that I've got 4 people that are in progress. And if I click here, this gives me the 4 people that are currently in progress for that particular OJT. And so I can actually see for this Alex technician, he's currently in progress. I can see that he was actually due on the 5th of the 1st, so he's overdue. And if I click on view, I can currently see where he sits in his OJT certification process. And if we go back to the PowerPoint presentation I left off on, we can see that this is an on-the-job training that consists of a training plan, assessment, and a sign-off. It doesn't have the optional knowledge test, which also can be conducted in here as an online test. Now, this information is visible. I'm looking at it on a PC, but it's also visible on a tablet or on a phone. So this is something that is quite often managed directly in the factory floor, or it could be in a hangar, or it could be on a mine site. There's many different scenarios in which this is used. So I can see that the training plan is being conducted because I've got 1 of 3 completed. And here I can see this training plan was completed on the 6th of December. And I can see this training plan, and I can actually see what questions were answered in this checklist process. So this is the checklist for the training plan that then reflects back to the standard operating procedure or work instruction document, which can also be an asset which we link to or store in our system. So I can see that all of these things were completed. Awesome, that's great. So I'll close that down. I can see that's done. But now I've got an assessment that needs to be completed. So this currently doesn't have anyone associated with it. So Tom Engineer was a trainer for this training plan, but nobody is assigned to the assessment. So I can then, as the supervisor, select a resource to assign as an auditor. So in this case, I'm going to go and assign Cliff Engineer as the auditor. I can also put down some comments there and click on save. So now Cliff, the engineer, is assigned to this particular training plan as the, sorry, not the training plan, the audit or assessment. And you can see here, Cliff Engineer is the auditor. Now I've got a sign off, right, that I can't yet complete because this assessment hasn't been completed yet. So what we're now going to do is we're now going to look at Cliff as the engineer. I'll just refresh his page quickly. And I can see that Alex Technician has now been assigned as an incomplete assessment that needs to be conducted. So I can see this particular assessment here, and I can go and complete it. So now I'm going in and I'm looking at the skills evaluation, and this can really form any form of sort of questionnaire type approach. So some people require uploading of evidence. So it might be photographic evidence. It could be video evidence that also gets evaluated. It could be a simple sort of, checklist-based approach. It might require you to do sort of matching questions. It's a very flexible using our assessment engine architecture. But in most cases, it becomes just a standard sort of checklist-based approach. So I'm going to just pretend that I'm actually watching somebody complete this. So I'm going to finish it, submit it, and now it will be completed. So I've now completed that. You'll notice it's missing. If I go back to my audit, you can see that that now is being completed. So the assessment component has now been completed. So I, as the supervisor, can now complete the sign-off piece of it. So if I go back and I want to complete the sign-off piece, there's my Alex technician. I can go and edit the sign-off piece. I can complete that. I can assign a competency level. And these competency levels for this particular skill can be in different ways, but I can say that they're competent. You can have your own, if you want to have your 5-level, workday, skill levels approach, then those operational statuses will also reflect that. I can put in my completion date, which is today. I can put in any comments. I can upload any evidence that I might have captured. We have a mobile operational assessment app, which allows you to do all of this in the mobile operational assessment, even offline. But if you're capturing video or audio or anything, that's then captured as part of this record, and then you submit that, and that becomes part of the overall digital record for this individual. So I can actually add this outcome, and this then finishes that particular certification. So if I go back to my team home and I look at my view, now all of a sudden I've got 1 person which is actually now certified in this, and 3 in progress. And if I want to look at the 1 person that's certified, it's my Alex technician. So this process is really easy to use, and you'll notice that the screens aren't cluttered and they don't have a lot of information in them. And that's because we want to make it very, very easy for you to just do what you need to do in the system. Now, if I am a learner, let's just say I'm Bob Technician, and Bob Technician is going into his learner homepage, and I can see some courses which we're automatically recommending based on our AI recommendation engine, which is saying based on your job role, your location, your shift, what you have completed, what you haven't completed. These are the programs we're recommending. I can go and access these from here. But I can also see my in-progress OJT. So I can actually see this information as well as a learner. And I can see in this case that I've got 3 overdue OJTs that I need to go and complete or be completed. So I can go through and view this, or I can actually go and launch a course that might be part of an OJT as well. And I can do it all from one place. So from a management perspective, just going back to my team home, I can view other information, like I've got these OJTs that I need to go and sign off. So I've got a lot of work to do. Typically, most of our supervisors aren't this tardy, but as I can see, there's quite a few overdue. I can also generate some reports. So if I'm looking at my training matrix and seeing what is the status of my team and how are they performing in terms of their overall skill or competency, I can click on my training matrix. I can run this, like in this case, I'll run it as an Excel report. I can change the parameters, and these parameters can be turned on or off, moved around, etc. I can then run it, and my report will then generate. And in terms of the reporting data, I've just got one that already exists here, which is just easier to look at. But in this case, I can see based on my shift and me as the manager and the organization they belong to and the job profile they have, job roles they have, I can see a view of the various different levels of skill that they need in different areas. And these can be quite granular, like at the equipment or process level. And I can see whether they're due, whether they're overdue, whether they're coming due, whether they're expired. I can drill down into this information. One of the other reports we can generate is a heat map report, which allows you, and you can see this in HTML format, it just looks nice in Excel, where you generate it, and you can also see based on a heat map, not only where somebody's status is, but also how far they're through the process. So I can see I'm 33% of the process through here, and I've completed 1 of the 5 things that are in there. And that, 1 of 5 hours of training, I should say. So this overall process and this training hours that we've completed, this is all part of data that we're tracking in our system in order for us to be able to determine, okay, how much effort is required to close the gap between their current state of certification and their needed state of certification. which also helps with assigning trainers and auditors based on how far are they through the training process, as well as how many hours do they have left to conduct that process over. One other thing I did want to show briefly is in terms of the reporting and dashboarding piece. So when we're looking at things like job roles or job role competencies, being able to roll this up by location or by region, by factory or facility, that's really important, because that really gives us the ability to be able to make better decisions around how are we performing in certain areas. It could be across different job roles with different expertise levels. I can see that I'm below a sort of benchmark minimum here. I can see how I'm progressing in terms of this one towards like supply chain planner. How am I going in terms of their skill set? And a lot of that is driven by hard skills deployment. I can look at competency levels by different locations, or I can look at it by job role. I can look at it across different job roles and compare and contrast. I can also look at job roles in general and look at it across, in this case, like countries. So there's lots of ways in which this data can be sort of sliced and diced to help with being able to make better decisions around where should we invest our energy into our training, whether it be structured on the job training through our AJT3 framework, or it could be through other training that's required, depending on the skills that you're looking to develop. So in terms of the, going back to our presentation, one of the things I did want to talk to is very much like the high level components of this approach. So if we think about how we get this data and how we manage this data, so that training needed for specific functions, that is employees, the shifts, the roles, the different modules or production lines, that data is ingested into our system, or it can be managed directly in our system. As part of that, we're manufacturing those OJT3 training plans, which allows us to create those training plans in alignment with standard operating procedures, work instruction documents. In some cases, with some customers, we're automatically ingesting those based on changes within their product lifecycle management systems, for example. So there's a change to an SOP or a work instruction in their product lifecycle management solution. We automatically create the training plans and assign those training plans based on who needs to be trained and who needs to be certified, coming from the source, which is the product lifecycle management solution. But as part of this, we're managing that whole assignment of training, or evaluation of certification gaps, I should say, then assignment of training, and then assignment of the resources like the trainer or the auditor to conduct the training plan or conduct the skills evaluations, capturing that evidence, and then providing that in information which is audit ready, but also providing guidance to supervisors. It could be factory managers, it could be regional heads who are looking at what skills do we have versus what we need to potentially adopt new products or open up new production lines, or what is our resource capacity gap to be able to address. It could be a new increase in production that's required for a particular production line. So this data helps provide really meaningful guidance to the business to better achieve business goals. And then finally, the data that we're capturing around people's certification or decertification is actually then fed through into access control systems, into factory management applications or operating systems. So we truly do control a positive flow of work all the way from, the first procedure or process or tool that somebody uses, all the way through to the production of the finished product, which ultimately reduces variability in production, but increases quality, and reduces waste, which all go towards significant benefits from the process. And so just on benefits, if we think about how people benefit from what we do, and this is actually not even best case. So on average, right, reducing time to productivity by roughly 40%. As I mentioned before, the benefits you get from that are significant, not only in terms of being able to reduce the cost of getting somebody to productivity, but increase the use of those people and the people supporting them to better focus on production. Significant reduction in errors and incidents. where a lot of this came from by putting this into our system was around getting around scrap events that were occurring as a result of people not being retrained when they go away on leave of absence. They come back, they're not recertified on procedures that they were previously certified on. Things may have changed, which if they follow the old procedures results in a scrap event. And that occurred with one of our customers. I mean, they spent $250,000 on one scrap event as a result of not retraining or recertifying somebody on a change procedure after returning from leave of absence. So it has a big impact, and reducing these errors and incidences all go back into production and productivity metrics. Increased productivity, reduced training costs are all benefits from operating a very structured on-the-job training system. And as I said, it doesn't have to be complicated, and it's not using our solution. And then compliance assurance, obviously audit. Nobody likes the auditors popping around. Making sure you've got 100% or very close to 100% is the goal of pretty much every production facility. So ensuring compliance assurance is another critical benefit of this solution. But when we take this ability to manage hard skills and combine that with our ability to manage soft skills as part of the whole skills portfolio, that's where it really truly shines. Not just for organizations who use it for all of their learning, but also when you've got dealers, partners, distributors, extended enterprise use cases where they're not in your organization, but you still need to train and certify them to ensure the quality of, say, products that your dealers or distributors are selling. That's where you truly get the benefit of that sort of single source solution that we offer. So, that brief demo is a brief glimpse into how we manage a very structured process in a very simple way, which is easy to engage with, but ultimately delivers real tangible benefit. All right, were there any questions that we got from the process?
We have some questions that looks like Young answered in the chat. So for folks who are interested to continue chatting with SeerTech, or maybe they have a question that bubbles up to the surface later after they've been processing a little bit, what's the best way to get in touch with you all?
Sure. So as Chief Strategy Officer, my job is ensuring that our product is aligned with not only what our customers are looking for, but also with market and market trends. So, if you're interested in discussing, our system, our product, our solution, then by all means, please email me. There is 2 digits missing off my phone number, I noticed. So it is 0551 is the phone number. If you're interested in contacting me, but certainly I'm available via email if you want to dive deeper into how we do this and what our strategy is. One thing I didn't mention is our future direction. And as part of this, as we're gathering more information around critical areas of hard skills development, is we're overlaying our AI layer into providing more predictive analysis to organizations to better predict, sort of critical trends in terms of certification gaps, so that supervisors or even regional heads can get ahead of that to start closing those gaps ahead of time. So that is on our near-term roadmap in terms of what we're working on to bring to this table to improve our overall OJT3 management processes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for giving us a little sneak peek of what's coming ahead for SeerTech. Thank you again for being a sponsor today for Demo Day, Find Your Next LMS. And we're going to take a quick short break before we come back for our 3rd demo of the day. So I will see you all at 1:30 Eastern Time. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Alrighty, welcome back everyone to our 3rd demo of Demo Day, Find Your Next LMS. I'm very pleased to introduce today's 3rd demo with IMC, Scalable Enterprise Training Across Diversified Audiences. Jim McDowell, the Business Development Director for North America at Sheer IMC, is going to guide us through this demo, and Anna Lamore, Head of Product Enablement, will be joining us in the chat to help answer all of our questions. Say hello to Anna, and I am going to pass it over to Jim to take it away for us.
Thank you, Alexandria. And are you seeing my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Hold on. How about now? Does that work? Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. Yes, thank you, Alexandra. Yes, I am Jim McDowell, the Business Development Director for IMC. I'm very fortunate to lead a team of very extremely capable and talented folks here in North America, as well as being supported by IMC teams across the globe. A little bit about my background. I've been in learning and development a little over 25 years now. I was a management development specialist for Publix. And then after leaving that for the last 17 years, I've been selling LMS solutions and other learning solutions to enterprise clients. I currently live in Savannah, where it snowed last week, which was interesting. And I'm supported today by Anna, who's one of the smartest people I know, who's going to be answering your chat. So with that, I would like to give you just a quick glimpse of IMC by showing you this video. So we are IMC. So a couple other things about our company. We're Europe's leading enterprise platform. We've been in business now 27 years with global rollouts of learning platforms across the world. Our very first customer was Lufthansa Airlines, and they're still a customer today after 27 years. We have a 98% customer retention rate, which we're very proud of, because once we get a customer, we like to keep them. One unique thing about our company is that 25% of all our revenue is reinvested in developing new technologies. And then as those new technologies are developed, we roll those out to our customers with innovation packs 3 or
Hi,
4
Jim.
times a year. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We're seeing the presenter mode right now. Any possibility you can flip this view so we just see one slide at a time?
I don't know if I can do that or not.
Jim, just go up to display settings at the top.
Yeah. Okay.
Click on that and then swap presenter and slideshow.
Oh, who knew? Okay. Sorry
Looks
about
great.
that.
There we
All
go.
right.
Thanks.
So you're seeing it on the other screen. Okay. Right. Okay. So a little bit about our products and our product lines. Our main product is our IMC Learning Suite, which is our core product. It's a full learning experience portal and an enterprise-grade learning management system, so you really get the best of both worlds with IMC Learning Suite. We have our IMC Studios, which is producing content and digital learning for our customers, including content with gamification elements and simulations. And finally, we have our IMC Express, which is our content creation tool, which uses artificial intelligence to allow SMEs and trainers to quickly and efficiently create award-winning training and content. And speaking of awards, actually, we're getting an award this week from Brandon Hall for our IMC Express learning technology, as well as for our Dialogue GPT, which is a new product that's coming online soon. So stay tuned for that. Many organizations believe that simply offering a training platform to external stakeholders is enough. But today, the real gauge or the real game changer isn't just providing training, it's creating an ecosystem where learning drives tangible business outcomes like higher partner loyalty, better customer retention, and scalable revenue streams. In our experience, those who treat learning as a strategic lever, not just as a compliance exercise, lead the pack in their industries. I realize that training partners and resellers and suppliers seems like a headache, but it doesn't really have to be. What seems to be a challenge can actually be a competitive advantage. And with that, we can help. So if you're a healthcare system, imagine not just making sure business associates are up to date with compliance training, but turning them into ambassadors for your services. If you're a manufacturer, imagine making sure dealers and distributors are knowledgeable about your products and stay aware of changes and improvements. And imagine being able to train people in a headless environment, both on the sales floor and the shop floor. If you're a retailer, imagine engaging with customers in a new way in order to build brand loyalty and increase sales. If you're an association, imagine providing industry-specific compliance and professional training, as well as credentialing programs, even if your association has a global reach. If you're a sales organization, imagine product and sales training measured for tangible results through sophisticated analytics. And finally, if you're a learning organization, imagine having performance tracking and ROI measurements that can prove learning and development's value to the bottom line. At IMC, our IMC Learning Suite is suitable to any scenario, whether you're a B2B, a B2C, or a B2B2C, we have a solution for you. The Learning Suite is scalable across diverse audiences, whether that is a regional or a global audience. So if you're ready to turn your customers and partners into brand ambassadors, sales champions, and more, let's take a look at the IMC Learning Suite. So first of all, this would be your landing page. This is the page to your portal, highly
Jim, I'm
customizable.
sorry.
Pardon,
We
you're
don't
not
see
seeing?
yours. No, you're on the other. You're showing the other screen. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Perfect.
Seeing
Thank
it
you.
now. Sorry about that. Sorry, folks. Anyway, so this is your landing portal, and again, this is highly customizable. Your partners and customers will access that through a URL, which are also customizable. IMC Learning Suite supports multi-tenancy, so you can have unlimited amount of users and roles and landing pages. It will also integrate with existing apps and portals and websites. It's highly configurable, so this is kind of your real estate. So you can configure different tabs, different branding, different colors. You can also customize your messaging so that it fits your audience. Again, because as we look at training partners and customers, you'll have different landing pages for different groups. As you saw in the video, the IMC Learning Suite is built with a responsive design, so it's going to play the same on a cell phone, a tablet, or your laptop, or your desktop at your office. We currently support 44 languages, so your portal can be built with a particular language, and as the learners sign in, they'll take their training all across the experience in the language that they chose. We have easy registration, so it's very easy for new learners to sign up by simply clicking on sign up and filling out the information. So as we think about, again, pushing out our training to customers and partners, let's think about how we might set up a portal for a supplier. So I'm going to sign in as Jim C, who is a supplier. And we see his customized dashboard. The first thing that Jim is going to see is that he was in the middle of taking this general anti-discrimination training. He can either resume that or he can not. So we're not going to do that today. So you'll see that the Jim is currently involved in an onboarding program. If we click here, we can see the details of his training path of this onboarding. We go back to the dashboard. We can actually open the learning path. The system has the red light, green light functionality. So you'll see that any courses that are completed have a green check. Those that are in progress will be yellow. So you can see the various modules that Jim is taking in this onboarding path. And if we click on one of the modules, this is a very, very simple module that has a couple of probably SCORM-based training and a test. He's finished one of the modules, so he's 33% finished. And we'll take a look at a more complicated lesson in a second. So looking at Jim's dashboard again, he has his onboarding program. He has a list of mandatory courses. At a glance, he can see what his progress is for those courses. He has current courses that are assigned to him. Again, looking at his progress. He has a learning path. He has some recommended learning based on his role or his region or where he is, with the particular organization he's with. There's a chance for him to search for particular topics. And at the bottom, there's some favorite material, probably some courses that Jim's looked at over time and would like to take when he gets a chance. The system has a full catalog function. So Jim can look at the catalog and see, first of all the courses, again, based on his role and where he is and his attributes. He can also, on the left-hand side, we have meta tags, so he can search for training by content type, learning mode, enrollments, location, etc. And then we also have a search function. So let's say Jim's interested in sales. He can type in sales and quickly see a course that will fit that need. Going back to the dashboard, we'll look at this course that he's currently involved in. This is excuse me. And here we have a more sophisticated kind of a blended learning course that Jim's taking. If we look down the left-hand side, we see information about the course. We see the skills that he'll be able to have once he's finished. See the authors. If there's a forum or a blog, he can log in social media and also see some of the other participants who are taking the training. And as we look at this learning, we see that we have a pretest and an introduction. There's a kickoff workshop. There's some online modules. There's a workshop session that Jim can look at and find a time or a place that's suitable for him, and in which case he can enroll. There's a virtual session, video assignments, some learning exercises, a final assessment, and a chance for feedback. Again, in building courses, all very customizable to what your particular needs are, for that training session. The system also contains learning logic, which is some programmability behind the learning experience so that you can enforce sequences. So again, that Jim can't take the introduction, can't take the kickoff workshop till he's taking the pretest or the introduction. So you can do that sequentially. You also have the opportunity to test out competency. So let's say that Jim takes the pretest and he scores 50%. Well, obviously he's not reached the requisite criteria for for taking this course, so you can cancel and reschedule. And then on the other side, let's say he reaches 80% competency, it may be that he can kind of test out of the introduction and maybe a kickoff workshop. So it gives you the ability to maybe save time and money, particularly in those courses that you have to do year after year. So let's log out. Let's log Jim out, and let's log Linda in. Linda is a reseller, and we're going to see what her custom dashboard is going to look like. So you see, first of all, that the look and feel for Linda is very different than what Jim had. She's got some mandatory training. She has a certification, current courses. She has badges, some recommended learning, and some other contacts. The system gives you the availability to monetize the site. So if you want to make money from courses, then you can, Linda can just add this course to the cart. And just like ordering from Amazon, she goes to the cart, puts in her, proceeds to checkout, puts in her credit card, and then is immediately assigned the training. We're going to remove that because I don't have my credit card with me today, so we'll skip that part. Linda's enrolled in a certification. This is typically a way for if you have an annual certification that requires different elements, and different courses have to be completed in order to complete a certification, then that can be done here. If we look at the details, we see that she has several different learning elements within that training, within that certification. She can see her progress, along that line, and she can actually open up an individual course and look at her progress as well. The system also has gamification elements. So we have badges. So Linda can earn badges, based on her achievement. Those badges can then be will appear on her dashboard, as well as being exported out to things like LinkedIn and other social media sites. There's also the chance to like do some gaming. If you want to have some healthy competition in your organization, you can actually earn experience points based on the training that you've accomplished. You'll see in this particular exercise that, or this particular game, that Linda's at level 1. She needs 200 experience points for level 2. And if you have healthy competition in your company, she can also seek where her other learners are. So I want to log Linda out now, and we're going to log in James, who is he's a super admin or a global admin. The first thing we'll see about James is that he has several roles. He's an administrator, he's a trainer, he's a manager, and he's a learner. And he can access each of these roles right from this website or right from this login without having to switch logins. But for today, we're going to look at what he's able to do as a super admin or a global admin for the organization. First of all, we see that he has access to all of the users within the organization, both external and internal. And also he has access to all the groups. So as we think about using the learning suite to push out training and learning to partners and customers, we can build landing pages and reporting for those particular groups. So here we have our external users, and we can drill down very far by location, etc., to see all of those learners. So Jim as a super admin can create learning content, open course overviews, view reports, manage assessments, manage users. But I want to show you one of the neat things about IMC Learning Suite, and that's the easy course creation. So let's say that James needs to create a course on HIPAA. It's that time of year. So he can name the course. We'll call it HIPAA. Oops. And he can put a description here, however long he wants that. He can determine how long the course is available, either in months or years. And he can also upload an image either from an image library or from his computer. And once he has this information in, he can save and continue. And now he can actually build the content or the structure of the course. He can add content through a content library, scrolling through or searching, for a particular course. And this one seems to be appropriate for this course. You can add that content. You can also create content by browsing for content on his computer. Here's a HIPAA privacy rule Word document that seems appropriate. So we'll add that as well. You can determine the translation for this particular course and then save that. You can also determine if he wants this globally through all the portals or just wants it local, and we're just going to make it local. And then once he's built the training, then he's able to save this. And now he has a course, and he can now add participants, either individuals by name, or he can also add groups based on job class and roles, etc. So once he's done that, he saves and continues, and he's very quickly created a course that he can push out to learners across the organization. IMC Learning Suite is also built with powerful analytics powered by Microsoft BI. And this gives Jim as a super user and a global admin to analyze the activity within his portal. So if we look here, we can see information at a glance, overdue learners, learners with action needed, etc. And by clicking on one of the quadrants, he gets an expanded look at the training. And as our presentation is dealing primarily today with how do we take our enterprise LMS and use it to not only train people internally, but to train external users like customers and vendors and suppliers and resellers, then the ability to track that training by those groups is important. So we can look at groups. We can look at the training by groups. Here we have our external users. We can also look at training by a particular learner and also actually by a specific course. We can also look at learners simply by clicking on their name and viewing the details here. So very, very easy to use and very, very easy to get very granular in your analytics, right down to the individual user as well as groups. Another neat thing is our ability to gauge the skills for our groups. And we see here in this skills capacity training, we get an opportunity to look and see the number of folks who've acquired a particular skill, which is extremely important. And if we look at the skills overview, we can, as before, we can get as granular as we want to as it relates to groups and individuals and even profiles and even actual courses. But you also get this large, broader overview where you could see, how many people have acquired a skill, how many people are still working on that acquisition, and who hasn't started. This is very motivating as you're looking to see, is our training having stickiness? Is it actually sticking? So We can look at this at a glance and maybe see that we have a skills gap in a particular location, in which case we can move people around to make sure that, that those needs are being met. Or if you can picture this in a sales training scenario, where we pushed out a sales training program and we're able to look very quickly by region based on their sales, whether the training is effective, and if it's being affected by the people who do and do not take the training. So again, the IMC Learning Suite is a very powerful, very robust system, a lot of analytics, a lot of reporting, a lot of things that we don't have time to show you now, but we would love to do that in the future. And so with that, I would like to show you a real customer, which is Mercedes-Benz.
Welcome to the new Learning Link, a user-friendly learning solution empowering you to master your professional challenges. Your learning journey begins with single sign-on via Netstar using your GEMS ID. Alternatively, you can also sign on through the LMS landing page. Enjoy your new learning experience. On your personalized dashboard, you find your current trainings, SOE or tech path, as well as quick links and news, all of which is automatically defined based on your job profile. When you open the catalog, you can easily find the courses that are determined by your specific training requirements. From the catalog, you can both register and launch directly into an e-learning. Finding your specific training and quarterly recertification requirements has never been easier. No matter what your career path is, at a glance, you see what is needed for your specific job code under each brand. The new development path includes a comprehensive overview of your individual learning path, with recertification due dates, visual status bar, the ability to hide completed courses, and launch courses directly from your development path. The new Learning Link, a flexible solution with the learner in mind. Focused, easy to use and navigate from anywhere at any time.
So Mercedes-Benz was an interesting situation. They came to us at the time. They had 32 different portals they were using across the globe. We were able to consolidate that into one system, and using the power of the IMC Learning Suite. And now they're pushing out training and other learning elements across the world. We have some takeaways, but I see that my time is getting pretty close here. So you're going to be able to see, to receive this information when you get the slide deck, and you can look at that. We also have a white paper that you can download. Again, that will be with the deck. When you get it, you'll be able to use the QR code and look at that. And so with that, I appreciate the time I've been able to spend with you today. Sorry for the technical hiccups, but it just happens, I guess, in our world sometime. Thank you, Alexandria, for setting this up, and the ATD team. And thank all the participants for being with us today. And here's my contact information. Would love to talk to you about pricing and maybe an extended, more thorough demo, and answer any questions you have. So with that, again, thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Jim. And thanks, Anna, for answering questions in the chat. If we didn't get to your questions, I know our IMC team has promised that they will follow up and help get those questions answered for you. So thanks for sticking with us and staying engaged with our third demo with IMC. We are going to take another quick 15-minute break. You guys know the drill by now, and we'll start up again at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time with our fourth demo of the day with Learn Upon. So I will see you all soon. Thanks. All righty. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to ATD Demo Day, Find Your Next LMS. I'm very pleased to introduce today's fourth demo of the day with Learn Upon, Transformative Learning Strategies for Business Impact and Employee Engagement. Our presenter is Michael Neiman, Pre-Sale Solution Engineer at Learn Upon, and Michael is going to guide us through Learn Upon's demo. And we also have Rena. She is joining us in the chat, so say hello to Rena, and I'm passing it over to you, Michael, to take it away for us.
Yeah, thanks so much. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Learn Upon demo session. I'm really excited to be here and part of ATD's demo session and chat with all of you HR, talent, and L&D leaders here today. So real quick, Learn Upon is a learning solution built for organizations looking to give their teams tools to deliver engaging learning experiences. And through that, you can have a big impact on those important metrics like employee performance, retention, and even your organization's growth. Quickly, by way of introduction, my name is Michael Neiman. I've been in the learning space a couple of years, and what brought me here is that I believe in human potential. And I believe that potential exists everywhere, but access to learning has not been. And so I've been on this mission to help more people get access to various learning, regardless of the industry, because when people are empowered to learn more, they end up being more productive and they create the most amazing things that are making all of our lives better. But what gets in the way of those training goals? And I hear a couple of common themes. And if any of these resonate with you, let me know with your favorite emoji in the chat. And if there are ones that I'm not capturing here and you want to share your biggest roadblockers, I'd love to hear from you as well. So I've got 4 here that I see quite often. The first one is new hire onboarding is inefficient. It takes a long time for people to be productive, and we need them hired last year and onboarded yesterday. And all the HR and talent teams are really feeling the pressure, and the business is feeling the impact of that. The next challenge that I see often is that retention rates are not where we need them to be. Just when we get them in the door and spend all of these resources to get them here, they don't feel like they're growing or leveling up in their career, and so they go somewhere else. And we need to help people grow and move up in the company, otherwise it gets expensive. And then along the same lines, skill gaps are holding us back. We need to be agile and adaptable, and especially in this competitive, fast-paced environment, bridging those skill gaps are more important than ever. And then lastly, when it comes to compliance training, whether it's health and safety or something regulatory, you just can't risk not being ready. And right now it's difficult to track that. So how do we solve this, and how can Learn Upon support you? And what it looks like when it comes to solving those things is we need a solution that makes it fast to onboard those new hires, reduce those barriers to learning, get people into that training. And perhaps this will involve a couple integrations we'll talk about later on, but we need to onboard people and have the technology that supports that experience. When it comes to retention, we need a solution that builds a culture of learning, helping employees thrive and develop in their career so they'll stick around. Kind of along those same lines, when it comes to skill gaps, we need a learning strategy that is dynamic and personalized without sucking up your bandwidth to do so. And then lastly, when it comes to compliance and regulatory needs there, we need a solution that stays on top of that for you and makes it easy for you to report on that. So why Learn Upon? And what makes us different? And in a moment, I will showcase some of the features that will empower you to deliver and track training, all while saving you loads of time. But I want to take a moment and give you the 1,000 feet perspective on our company strategy when it comes to solving those challenges and working together. The first one I want to call out is that we are an all-in-one learning management system. Quick fun fact about us, more than 65% of our customers are training multiple audiences within a single platform. And we're designed for this so that you don't have to pay to manage 2 systems, but you also can get the personalized experience that you need for those distinct audiences without having too many cooks in the kitchen, because we know that the requirements for different audiences change. And so how can we support that? That's how we do it here within Learn Upon. The second one is that we're easy to use. We rank very highly with our customer ratings, and it's something that we know learners don't have the patience for a clunky system with a poor UI, and frankly, administrators don't have the time either. I kind of always joke with people as I'm showcasing certain parts of the product, and they're shocked at how easy it is to use and how much time they'll save. I'll tell them, don't tell your boss that you're saving all these hours in your workday and just take Fridays off, because that's the kind of impact that people see when they switch to Learn Upon, and that's the kind of time that they save. Number 3 here is we don't just set you up with a platform, we partner with you to deliver the results that matter. What does this look like? Well, a couple things I'll call out here. We have 24/7 support, 365. When you purchase with us, you get an implementation consultant to guide you through the setup, help make sure that you're meeting the goals and objectives you have. These are all in-house Learn Upon employees, and we don't cap your access to the team or to those resources that we provide you. The other thing I'll call out, we don't slap you with ridiculous fees, and partnering with us is a little bit different. And for a lot of our customers, that's a huge differentiator. And then lastly here, just some external validation. We are award-winning, and we don't have to talk too much about our trophy shelf because I know that's not what we're here for. So just want to call that out, and let's dive into Learn Upon and show you how we can bring learning to life. So as I transition here, jumping into the platform, what you're looking at from this screen is our learner dashboard. And I'm going to first start with that learner experience because it's so important to nail that piece. And then I'll talk about all of the magic that's happening behind the scenes to make this unique, personalized experience, solving for those pains that we talked about a little bit earlier. So this learner dashboard here, whether you're signing in with single sign-on, username and password, the idea behind this is that with just a couple clicks, learners can jump right into the training that they need to take. Now you'll notice this banner image that's been rotating here. This is a great place to welcome your learners, promote them of a new training, or inform them of any updates. So you can customize and personalize that. They can be clickable. So some fun ways to bring this to life for your learners. As I scroll down, I've got this learning in progress, and I want you to think about this just like your Netflix show. You started last night. You want to pick up right where you left off, and that's exactly how we do it here within Learn Upon. We're tracking the progress that learners are making, and regardless what device they're taking that training on, whether it's a mobile or a desktop, we're fully mobile responsive and supporting that experience so it's as seamless as possible for your learners. Now, I've got this sales techniques and strategies course here. My due date is coming up January 27th, and Learn Upon is aware of this, and it's sending notifications to the learner, whether that's through email or through Slack, to keep them on top of that training and stay motivated and moving with those important deadlines. So those notifications can be customized. You can choose the wording, the messaging, but the really powerful part here is that with one click, the learner can jump right back into the training, right where they left off. And again, we're trying to reduce those barriers when it comes to accessing and taking that training. On the right-hand side here, I've got my live sessions. And this is where, whether you're doing this in person or over a webinar tool, we're able to deliver this hybrid training experience for your learners. And we do have integrations with things like Zoom, with Teams, and any moment now we'll be announcing our Google Meets integration. This is really exciting for you because for your learners, we'll track their attendance and we can bring that back into Learn Upon for you to see. So, making that as easy as possible. We'll also send out calendar invites directly to their calendar. So all the details they need about the time, the date, the link, that can all be pushed right to their calendar, and it's all managed right within Learn Upon. Scrolling down here, I've got my learning not started. There's a couple small things that actually make a big impact for your learners. And the one that I hear about often is having the ability to set the duration, the time tag, and the difficulty tag. And why this is important is if learners log in, the course is longer than what they were expecting, they'll drop off and they'll be like, oh, I don't have time for this. And or they'll kind of be frustrated because they're wanting to knock something out really quick, but this is actually an advanced training that takes 45 minutes. And so by setting these tags here, you can help set those learners' expectations. I know this one's going to be a little more challenging, take a little more time. Let me set aside the time that I need on my calendar to do so. And small things like that have a large impact for the learners. And then lastly, on this dashboard here, as they're working their way through the training, we've got gamification and badges here to award them for the progress that they're making. You can personalize these badges, name them what you like, add your own images, and have this leaderboard to incentivize learning. And it's fun to see all the ways that people get creative with this. I've seen excellent job and it's an egg, or I've seen Padawan to Jedi Master. So you can really make this fun and personalize this for your organization. Now, how do we get the right learning to the right learner at the right time? And as we were talking about that challenge where onboarding takes, is inefficient and there's a lot of hiccups there, the old school method of getting the right learner to the right learning at the right time is, an L&D administrator or HR person will be delivering or pushing out those courses as the learner progresses through them. And it's not scalable for the learner, and it's not scalable for the administrators. And so what we've done here is we've set up what we call learning journeys. And this is a personalized pathway guiding learners through the training that they need to get to be onboarded successfully. Now, I've got this onboarding journey right here I'll jump into. And as a learner, what I'm seeing is the step-by-step courses that I need to take to be successfully onboarded or to complete this journey. So I'll work my way through. LearnUpon knows that I'm in sales. It's going to deliver a product training, some sales techniques and strategies. It can even know something like my level, my role, my location, and deliver different trainings based on that. From a learner perspective, it's designed to be simple and to guide them step by step. Let's make it as easy as possible to get them to the right training at the right time. And I'm actually going to pull back the curtains here and step in the administrative side of LearnUpon to show you the magic that's happening behind the scenes. This is the Canvas tool that I use. This is LearnUpon's platform right here, where I'm setting up this journey. And you can see I've got this 30-day onboarding course, this welcome to the company course. It's generic and helpful for everyone. But now I've got sales teams, I've got a finance team, and I can continue to branch out as I have these different learners coming in with different onboarding requirements. So I can branch out, deliver the training that they need based on their role, based on their location, language, skills, you name it. I can create this personalized experience and this robust, unique, dynamic experience. And this information, knowing if I'm in sales or finance, this could come over through one of many different ways. We do have quite a few HRIS integrations that are out of the box that can pass information about your learners into the platform. Learners could maybe self-identify upon registering or signing in, or through any of our custom integrations as well. This data can be brought into our system and start to guide learners to the right learning. And this is where, when we talk about onboarding as quick as possible, you start to bring in those integrations, and all of a sudden someone gets added to your HRIS, they automatically get added to LearnUpon, they automatically get added to the right courses and start working down the right branch for them without you needing to be involved in watching this and tracking this. That can all be automated. We want to take that off your shoulders, onboard those employees quicker, and have a better experience for them. So this is our learning journeys. Exciting feature that a lot of customers have been getting a lot of impact out of. One of those customers is Sonic Automotive. We've been working closely with them, and they were experiencing a lot of those similar challenges I mentioned above. And through using LearnUpon, they were able to reduce their hire time proficiency by 50%. So huge time savings, and huge impact having their new hires, be able to start working quicker. And then also at an internal mobility level, with the skills they were able to train and develop and guide learners to with those pathways, they were able to see 80% increase in that mobility for the general manager level. So huge impact that Sonic Automotive is seeing when it comes to having something dynamic, that can handle the fast-paced change environment that we see today, onboard those learners as quick as possible. And all of this without putting, a lot of work on your shoulders, because that's the last thing we want to do is make your job harder. Now I'm going to jump back to the learner dashboard. There's a couple other things that I'm excited to share with you. Up top here, you'll notice that I've got some tabs here. I'll start with the catalog, and this is where learners can self-identify training that they want to take. Very clean, easy to use interface. We're curating this. So if I'm in a certain role, certain location, I may see different things here. And the idea behind this is we don't want to overwhelm our learners and throw everything at them. Let's just give them stuff that's important for them, simplify this, and we see those engagement rates increase as they log into this more personalized experience. Just like Netflix, when you log in and you're seeing the shows you're interested in, you start to engage more with the content that they have there. We also have some AI functionality here. I don't have enough data in this training environment, but as you set up Learn Upon and as people start taking courses and rating them, we can start to suggest courses to learners that they may like. That's also been a powerful way to promote your content and engage those learners, giving them materials that's going to be really helpful for them in their role. The resources here, this is going to be standalone content that is maybe not necessarily part of a course, but you want them to be able to access quickly. This can also be curated. So depending on my role, my location, whatever that may be, however you want to start to curate this, you're able to set that up so only certain people are seeing certain resources that they need to have access to. I'll touch on this briefly. We have our forums here for social collaboration, where that's important for people to engage learners and share ideas in a more social experience. Our forum is really handy for that. And then this My Learning tab here, this is where all of the training that the learner has taken or will take is right here in this easy dashboard. They can add trainings, external credits from other sources if they need. They can download their training history, or they can just simply see everything that they've taken and access, if they need to find materials or a course that they took recently, they can easily do so right from here. Now, I want to dive into a training and show you some of the great things we have that we can incorporate into a course and create this interactive learning experience. So jumping into this sales techniques and strategies, you'll notice on the left-hand side, I've got quite a few modules here, and I've got the progress bar showing the progress that I'm making as a learner. If I have any questions or I'm getting stuck, I can message my instructor right from here without needing to leave the course. So very handy for your learners. And some of those fun, engaging elements that we have here, this first one here, this is fairly straightforward with images, text, GIFs. You can incorporate or embed videos from YouTube, Vimeo, things like that. So really great place to start to build out your content. If you have documents, you can easily upload those right into Learn Upon as well, whether that's PowerPoints or documents, things like that. And then any videos as well, you can upload those into our platform. Exception. This video right here has video tracking enabled. So I'm actually unable to skip forward. And if I open a new tab, it actually pauses the video for those compliance use cases, gives you that peace of mind and that assurance that they have indeed watched the entirety of this video. Now, when it comes to SCORM and Tin Can, we are fully compliant with those authoring tools. One of our favorites recently is Easy Generator. We built out an integration with them. So one click from Easy Generator, you can push your content into Learn Upon. They have a ton of awesome course interactive features, AI built into their platform to help you generate content. And part of our strategies there is that when it comes to generating and creating that content, let's partner with the best of the best. Make it easy for you to use the tools that do the best job in those different areas. So with Easy Generator, you push that right into Learn Upon, or any of your favorite authoring tools, you can easily just drag and drop that SCORM or Tin Can package right into Learn Upon. Now, our exams, this is, when it comes to AI, this is, again, another newer feature that we've introduced into our platform. And what we found is that having a place or a moment where learners reflect on their training and what they've learned is really powerful. But a lot of instructors were not incorporating that because it's very time consuming to build out an exam. What kind of, how do you phrase the questions and what are going to be the potential answers that you could respond to? So what we've done within LearnUpon is we've actually built out an AI exam generator tool. And I'm going to jump back to our administrative side of LearnUpon. This is our AI powered assessments here. I can throw in some text, and this is about Neptune, my favorite planet here. I can have it generate a couple questions, and really quickly, I've got some questions that I can just incorporate into that training. So you'll plug in your own content here and generate some questions. And now with just a couple seconds or moments, I can now have learners start to reflect on what they've learned, and it really cements what they're learning as they're going through this process. Surveys are a great way for you to collect some feedback as you look to improve that training. LearnUpon has a survey tool built in the platform. You can ask different types of questions like, select one, rate the following, or even something open-ended. And this can all be reported on in our out-of-the-box reports. So you can run those analytics, start to understand what are the things that I could quickly do to make some big impact when it comes to this training experience. Going back to that compliance use case here, we've got our e-signatures. You can type in your name, sign this. You can set up you can upload documents or have terms here that they're agreeing to. So really fun way to engage those learners. And one last element that I don't have here is our checklists. So on the job type training where they're checking off certain things that they're completing, or you have a manager reviewing, that can also be incorporated. And any of these can be put together, packaged up to create this fun, engaging experience for your learners. Now, continuing on forward here into the back end of LearnUpon, and I want to showcase some of the other tools that we have at your fingertips to empower setting up this learning environment here. On this left-hand side, you'll notice anything that you'll need as far as managing users, groups, courses, that can all be done right here. A couple newer ones that I want to call out is our certificate editor. So as employees are completing that training, or customers or whoever is taking that training, I can go ahead and build out that certificate that's just drag and drop. So I'll pull in their first name, last name, the course title. I can even pull in some other things like the course length or completion dates, scores. And I've got this editor right here allowing me to change things like the font, the colors, the size, and easily generating these certificates, making them look very aesthetic. And I can attach these certificates to a course. LearnUpon will track when they expire and re-enroll learners back in that training. And when learners complete that training, they can easily share the certificate to LinkedIn. So a really great way to make it easy for learners to kind of brag about the progress that they're making and show what they've been doing with their career and the training that they've been taking. So that's our certificate editor there that you can easily create those certificates. And then as we've set up this training, obviously tracking it is going to be really important. And this is an area that I know with some people that I talk to, it's challenging to get the data in the right format that they need to see that information. Within LearnUpon, we make this very easy to do. You can create reports in our reporting suite. And I'll go ahead, I'll build out a progress report right here. I can select the filters that I'm interested in, select certain courses, users, groups, enrollment periods. I mean, you name it. Let's just get the data that we're looking for and filter it right here. And as I create this report, I can also choose the layout that I'm looking for. So no need to export this into Excel and move things around. You can do that all right here. We'll just drag and drop. I love to see the due date right next to the course name. Very easy for me to track those deadlines. And I'll just run this report. And I've got all this information showing up right here in one simple view for me to access. Now, if I'm running this often, I can save this report and I can schedule those reports and send that out to people within the platform. So great way to, especially as you're running and accessing this data often, very easy for you to do so. And then one other thing I'll call out when it comes to the data, when we have our managers who are overseeing training within the platform, we know that it's helpful for them to have a simple view to track what's going on. This right here is our manager dashboard. I'm actually signed in as a manager to the platform. I can quickly see the 17 learners or the 17 courses that have been completed, a couple not started, a couple past due. I'm pretty concerned about this 21 courses that are past due, so I can view this list. I can select those learners and send them a message all right from the platform. So no need to open up Slack or my email. I can just prompt them or nudge them right here, something that's personalized outside of those automated notifications that LearnUpon's already sending. Hey, don't forget to complete this course. We need it done by Friday, something like that. So we're empowering when it comes to the administrators, we're empowering them with certain tools. We're empowering your managers with access to the data, with dashboards and the ability to take action on it. As a manager, let's say I'm working with one of my employees, I notice there's an opportunity for, maybe some conflict resolution training or some communication or something like that. Managers can also be empowered here to identify the training that's going to be helpful for their employees, and they can quickly enroll them in that training here. Now, I know we're coming up on time. I want to give plenty of time to ask some questions that may have come up. So I'll go ahead and I'll transition here to this last screen. And Alexandria, what are some of those great questions that have popped up?
We have so many questions. So thank you, Leslie, for answering some of them in the chat, and Rena for helping move things around in the background. One is, can you have people in multiple categories, for example, manager and customer service?
Yeah, it's a very common scenario. And a lot of times, we see many different scenarios where someone is a manager or in customer service, and they need manager training, but they also need customer service training. It gets very there's a lot of complexity there that we simplify with those learning journeys so that they can get all the right training that they need in a very easy pathway.
We have a lot of questions about integrations, and I know that you covered some of them. Other HR systems like Workday, Google Calendar, other calendar platforms. Can you talk about those again?
Yeah, we're big on integrations. We understand that LearnUpon is just one part of this much bigger ecosystem. So we've deliberately set out with integrations with your favorite HRIS tools, with CRMs like HubSpot, Salesforce, with your webinar tools that were mentioned, Slack, things like that. I'll actually throw a list of all of our integrations in the chat here, so you can see a list. But the idea behind this is we want to save you time, quickly connect to those systems, and use that to deliver the right training to the right people.
Awesome. Yes, we have a lot of questions about integration, so hopefully that answers all of those questions. And we had a few questions about if you're doing live events or live trainings, or maybe it's a blended something, or it was live, but then you move it to a webinar. What does that look like? Is it easy enough to kind of create a single course for that? Do you have to recreate a course if you have something that starts off live and it transitions into like a different asset?
Yeah, great question there. Yeah, so when it comes to setting up the structure of our training, it's up to you the pieces you want to pull together. And maybe the only thing you care about is it's just a live training. Or maybe there's some pre-content or some post-content and you want to mix elements together. It's within LearnUpon, it's just pulling the elements together. It can be one or many of any of those elements. And those live trainings can easily be tracked. And we didn't have too much time to get into this, but we do have a dedicated live learning center here, which is kind of our one-stop shop for everything like scheduling, tracking, managing those live trainings. So you can easily add them on the fly if you need, or create them, one at a time, but it's all handled very seamlessly here in our live learning section.
Well, Rachel asked about learning journeys. If you have a big enterprise organization, over 8,000 employees, is there a maximum number of learning journeys that you can create? And is there a way to bulk upload assignments? Is the assignment feature solely based on the learning journey?
Yeah, so the first part of that question, with our learning journeys, we don't have any limits today on how many you can create, how in-depth you branch out. And part of the way we want to partner with you is we've got quite a bit of experience with our team helping organizations. Let's bring both of our heads together and brainstorm how can we build out this learning journey in a way that's going to make the most sense. So we really want to, handle at scale. You have 8,000 learners, a lot of changes, people coming in and out. That's a lot for a team or people to manage. That's where technology like our learning journeys can really have an impact. When it comes to those assignments, if you want to mark those assignments or update like people's progress or status in bulk, you can update that, select, all of the learners you need and update their progress. Uploading pushing an assignment or uploading the assignment itself is one at a time, but marking the scores you can do in bulk.
Cool. All right, I know we have more questions coming in. We have a super engaged audience. So if folks want to get in touch, I see Leslie and Rena mentioning they can set up custom demos, they can follow up. Thank you so much to the Learn Upon team. Thank you, Michael. Thank you again, Rena and Leslie, for helping us out in the chat. We had a really great engaged group. You guys rock. We have one more demo left today. So take a quick break and come back and join me at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Time for our 5th and final demo of the day. And a huge thank you again to the Learn Upon team. See you soon.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Great to chat with you today.
Yay! We made it to our 5th and final demo of ATD Demo Day. Find your next LMS. I'm so excited to be introducing you all to the Litmos team. Our 5th demo is Litmos LMS, AI powered for an effortless learner experience. Yelena Shula, Senior Solutions Consultant at Litmos, and Paul Ghosh, Senior Solutions Consultant at Litmos, are here to guide us through our final demo today. So without further ado, here is Yelena and Paul to lead the way for us.
Hi, everyone. So glad that you're here. My name is Yelena Shula. I'm based out of St. Augustine, Florida. I am a senior solution consultant at Litmos, and I really just like to think of my role as someone that helps you determine if Litmos is a good fit for you. Could Litmos really be your next LMS? So I'm excited to demo Litmos platform today, specifically some of our AI features that really make the learner experience really effortless. Before we get into the demo, I have Paul here with me. He's a colleague on my team, and he is a Litmos content expert. We want to tell you a little bit about Litmos content because at the end of the day, we understand that your LMS will only ever be as good as the content that you have in it for your learners. So before we get into the demo, Paul, can you give us a little bit of background on who you are, how you have been involved in the Litmos content solution, and really at a high level, how would you describe the Litmos content?
Yeah, thank you, Yelena. I appreciate it. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being so patient. We're super excited to meet with everyone today. My name is Paul Ghosh. I've been with Litmos 11 years, and I'm a solutions consultant just like Yelena. Happy to connect with you guys today on our solution. One thing I will say is I was privileged enough to be a part of our Litmos content team for the longest time since the inception of it. And really, the one great thing about being a part of that team where I held multiple roles in sales and production of courses from front to back is we truly felt like we were doing something to make a difference in lives individually by helping people grow personally and professionally, but also by helping and enabling businesses to really provide that safe, positive, and healthy workplace environment and culture. So super excited to dive into Litmos content and the Litmos solution as a whole. And as I give you a little bit of background on Litmos content, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share a reel to play in the background. So hopefully you guys can see my screen, and I'm going to play the reel. But when it comes down to it, Litmos content is really just a great way to supplement professionally created content created by Litmos with your own courses. So our libraries are made up of approximately 3,200 courses that grow monthly, and it really covers two major components, which is compliance and soft skills. The compliance piece really to provide that healthy and safe workplace environment while protecting your business from any criminal or reputational damage. But also the soft skills piece to drive that upskilling and reskilling to enable personal and professional growth. The courses are created by an experienced content creation team and subject matter experts really designed for optimal learner outcomes.
Thanks, Paul. How can Litmos content impact learning audiences?
Yeah, understanding employee development is more crucial now than ever. The soft skills library of the Litmos solution covers many topics that are pivotal for employee development. In our general compliance library, we have 1,600 plus courses, and some popular topics include leadership, communication, productivity, well-being, and Microsoft training.
What is another way that Litmos content adds value to our customers currently?
I would say onboarding and compliance. Understanding onboarding and compliance are key pieces to set up new hires for success while establishing a positive workplace environment and culture. There's 400 plus courses in our general compliance library that cover popular topics, including business ethics, business operations, diversity and inclusion, discrimination and harassment, and people management. But with Litmos content, you can ensure quick and efficient onboarding and compliance to set employees up for success from the get-go, while ensuring your business is protected from a compliance standpoint. Also, please note, we offer region-specific compliance to ensure compliance down to the city, state, and region level.
Great. And last question here, Paul. What are some key differentiators and benefits of Litmos content?
Yeah, what's really neat about the off-the-shelf content from Litmos is we have monthly releases, including new courses and updates to existing ones. So the biggest benefit to you is you get new courses at no additional cost. At the same time, we're always updating the look and feel of our existing courses to make sure they have a modern, consumable, and learner-centric look and feel. And if there's a compliance law change, we're going to ensure that a new version of that compliance course is pushed out with our regular updates. We do offer multiple delivery methods and formats to cater to various different learners, including animation, talking heads, and even a hybrid of both. Lastly, we're always expanding our content partnerships to maximize content options to leverage within Litmos, which includes access up to 80,000 plus courses.
All right, thanks, Paul, for that. And let's get started with the demo. Let me start sharing my screen. There we go. All right, so I'm logged in as Mark Smith. He is a learner logged into Litmos to complete training. The first thing that you'll notice here is our learner dashboard. Very intuitive, very easy to use, very modern look and feel. We have gone with this kind of Netflix style type of dashboard, except, instead of TV shows and movies, this is all training content. This is training content that has been assigned to me, whether that is compliance content, onboarding content, any type of content, whether that's been Litmos content that Paul was just talking about, or it could be content that you have created yourself. It's assigned to me. It shows up on my dashboard. There's the overdue swim lane, which is training that is overdue. Very easy to get to from here. I can just click on any of the course tiles. There's also my in progress swim lane, so training that I have started but I have yet to complete, so I can easily continue that course. And then training that has been assigned to me but not started. And this could be courses, or it could even be something like a learning path. So again, very effortless experience for the learner. Now, what I want to be focusing on today's demo really is 3 of our AI power features. And that's going to be the AI playlist, the AI assistant, and the AI content author. So the AI playlist will show for the learner on the homepage. And I actually downloaded Spotify last night. I always heard of Spotify and I had never really used it myself. But I got it last night and I was creating some playlists and it reminded me of our playlist because as you can see here, I can enter a topic. So in this case, I'll just use, PowerPoint, Excel. And the AI playlist will create a playlist of content for me. So we'll pick the 10 most relevant courses in that content library and display those for me on my homepage. I can create up to 3 playlists at a time. So let's say that, I'm going to create another playlist for leadership, and not just leadership, but leadership for new managers. So I'm being very specific with my prompt here. And you can see it's creating another playlist for me on leadership essentials. Again, I can create up to 3 of these. It is sorted by relevance. The learner can also sort different ways, alphabetical order, or things like, the newest, the oldest to newest. So this is completely under their control. They can also delete these playlists from their home screen once they're no longer interested in the content. So let's say I've taken, enough leadership courses. I no longer have imposter syndrome, right? I can go ahead and delete that playlist. So I love this feature because it just allows the learner to very effortless be able to search for content. So we do still offer this learning library here that you can see in the upper navigation menu. And this is more of what I kind of like to call the old-fashioned way of searching for content, because as you can see here, I have access to all of this content. Again, a majority of it is Litmos content, but there's also custom content that I have created. And I have a search bar at the top, and I have my different ways of searching here, based on topics, based on languages or tags. But again, I call this the old-fashioned way of searching because with our AI functionality, we have really taken this search to the next level with our AI playlist and our AI assistant. Now, the AI assistant is going to be located here on this navigation menu at the top. The AI assistant takes what the AI playlist does and takes it to the next level. So the AI assistant can perform actions such as recommend content based on a description or a question. It can summarize content. It can assign courses to myself, or if I have permission to do so, I can assign courses to other people or a team. And it can also answer questions on content that I have access to. So for example, and this is going to be, I'm going to enter a description. I'm looking for sales objections courses. The AI assistant is going to look at that learning library. And again, there's over 3,000 courses in the learning library. It's going to run the search for me, and it's going to come back with, the top 3 most relevant courses, right? I can also use this as a way to summarize. So maybe this first course looks interesting, but I'm not sure if I want to take it yet. So I could say something like, tell me more about the first course. So now it's going to look at that first course on the list, and it's going to come back with a longer description of that course, right? So maybe now I could say, okay, well, now I'm interested. Now I want to take it. So I can click on that course tile, and I can either start this course now, or I can enroll in this course for later. So if I enroll in that course for later, now you'll see here that that course has been added to my not started swim lane. So it's there next time I log in. So it's a great way, again, to discover content. You can also discover content based on just asking a question. So let's say I'm going to start a new chat. And in this case, I'm going to ask, how do I best handle an upset customer? Maybe I'm in a customer service role. So I'm going to ask the question, and you'll see that it's not only going to recommend content based on this question that I'm asking, but it's also going to give me a summary, some tips on how to handle an upset customer. So it's a really great way, again, to discover content based on specific descriptions or specific questions. My favorite thing that the AI assistant does is answering questions on content that I have access to. So it can read all types of files, file types. So whether that's SCORM files, PDFs, Word documents, videos, audio files, whether it's Litmos content or it's content that you have created. It can also not just read e-learning courses, but it can read assets. So think of any policies or procedures that you upload into the LMS, employee handbooks, any type of resources that you want to make available to the learner. So in this case, I have uploaded our travel and expense policy, and I'm asking the Litmos AI assistant, what car size can I rent per company policy? So it gives me an answer here. The car rentals are limited to intermediate car sizes, except when 3 people are traveling together. So it tells me exactly what the policy is, but it also gives me a link to that policy. So just like it gave me a link to the course, I can click on that policy. It's an asset. In this case, this is a PDF file I can download and I can view that. So one of the great things that the AI assistant does is that it not only answers my questions, but it also gives me a link to the resource or the course, or where did it get this information from? So I'll show you another example here. In this case, I'm asking a question. We're a remote company. We have a certain home office allowance if I live in the US. So I'm asking, what is my home office allowance? And you can see here, it's telling me is, $500. So again, it lists that home office policy. So I can click on that and download the policy for myself and review that if I want to. Great things about our AI assistant, it is a closed AI. It's only contained within your Litmos instance. So when it's answering questions, when it's making recommendations, it's only looking at this area here of the learning library. So it's only answering questions and making recommendations on content that the learner already has access to. So it's not going out to Google to run an online search or anything like that. You can be secure that this is only looking at this learning library. And because this learning library can be personalized for learners depending on who they are in the organization, it is possible that in my learning library, I have access to content that other people don't have access to. So what's great with the AI assistant is that 2 different people could be asking the same exact question, and they could be getting 2 different answers, because those answers are going to be determined based on what is available to me in that learning library. So again, the AI playlist, the AI assistant, great ways to really make the learner experience really effortless for them to be able to search and discover content that they're interested in. The third AI feature that we wanted to cover today, it's actually our newest feature, and it is our AI content author tool. So Litmos has a great built-in content author tool. It is a SCORM creator. It's been around for years. Our customers love it. But now we have added this AI technology to the content author tool to just help you with creating content. So you'll see here when I open up the content author tool, the first thing I have to do is enter a prompt for the AI. In this case, I have already entered my prompt here. I'm asking for the AI to create a course titled The Gold Standard, Customer Service Excellence. I've added a few more details of things that I would like to be included in the course. The prompt does not have to be this exact. I'm just a detailed person and I wanted to add, as much information as you can, but you do not have to enter all these details. You also have the option to attach a file. So if you have maybe started creating some content, you have a PowerPoint slide, a PDF, a Word document, maybe you've started working on an outline, you're welcome to add that file, and the AI assistant will use that file to create content. The other thing that you can do, and out of the box, it's going to be turned off by default, but you can choose to turn on the AI training data. What that's going to do is going to tell the AI that it is okay to use the world knowledge that the AI model has to help you with this content creation. So for the demo today, I don't have a file, so I'm not going to upload a file. I simply enter a prompt, and I'm using the AI training data to see what kind of content it's going to create on customer service excellence. I can also choose how long I want this content to be. So anything from micro-learning, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, all the way up to 30 minutes, which would be considered something that's more comprehensive. So I'm just going to say, approximately 15 minutes. And now with the prompt and how long I want this to be, I'm going to generate some learning objectives. So the AI generated 3 learning objectives based on my desired duration of 15 minutes. So keep in mind that if you had had a 30 minutes desired duration, you probably would have more learning objectives in this. In future releases, we are including the ability for the content author to be able to add their own learning objectives or to be able to edit these learning objectives. But for this phase of the release, we're just giving you the ability to delete some of these if they don't apply to you, if you wanted to take them out. So with the learning objectives now, we're going to generate an outline. So again, similar to the learning objectives, in future releases, we're going to have the ability for you to add to this outline or to edit the outline. But for now, you just have the ability to delete. So in this case, I'm just going to delete this last part here, the conclusion and next steps. I just want to end my course with the final assessment. So I'm going to do that. Now it's going to create the content. So when it creates the content, what it's doing is it's creating pages. So that outline that you saw, each section of the outline is going to have pages that have been created. You're going to get things like page titles, page images. Now you can go into each page and start editing. In my experience, the AI assistant usually takes me 60 to 70% there with the course creation. I go in next and then I make some final edits. We don't want to take the human element completely out. So there are always things that we're going to allow you to be able to edit. I have a coworker, I was just speaking with him this morning, and he was able to create a course, and he said the AI assistant took him 90% of the way there. So some things that you can do once you're here. So now you have created your initial page. Now keep in mind that everything is editable, right? So you can, if you don't like this image, you can choose another image of your liking, either from something that you upload or from using our Unsplash library, or you may not want to have an image at all, or just add a color, right? So it's completely up to you. Creative freedom here. But I wanted to show you a few other key components of this. So let's say I'm going to take this whole text that it provided, and now I want to edit it. You have the options to make it shorter, to make it longer, to make it more casual, to make it more professional, or to find an image. So in this case, I'm going to make it shorter. So again, it's going to take all that text, it's going to summarize it for me. And I can read through this. If I don't like it, I can have it try again. Or again, I'll have the options to modify it. So those options, again, to make shorter or make longer, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it. And I'm going to also find an image for this. So if I do find image, again, it's going to look in this library and try to find an image that corresponds with that text. So now I can add an image here. So very easily I can go back in and I can make those changes. A couple more examples. Now let's say I want to go into this third page here and start editing this one. There's other components that you can add into the pages. So if you're familiar with content author tools, again, this is a SCORM creator, very interactive SCORM content. All of the blue icons here that you see on the list, these are your storytellers. So all your text-based components, headings, text, lists, block quotes, all of that can be added as components on these pages. You have the green icons. These are all the media components, things like embedding pictures, videos, embedding a YouTube or Vimeo video with the URL, audio files, right? There's orange components are going to be what really makes the course very dynamic, very visually appealing. So including things like hotspots on an image, flip cards, grid reveals. These are the type of elements that make the course interactive, where the user is clicking and what they're seeing on their screen is changing. So it's keeping them interactive. And then there's the purple icons, and these are assessment components. So you can include on the pages multiple choice questions, click to match, true, false, and things of that sort. So all of these you can do manually. Now notice that some of these have also been AI enhanced, right? So it means the AI is helping you create these components. So let's say I'm going to create, actually, before I create the list, let me copy this. So I'm just going to take this text here, and I'm going to create a list. So there's my list. Now I could manually go in and start adding things to my list, or I could tell the AI to do it for me. So I'm going to generate. with that same text that I had copied, and I'm going to make that into a list. So this is how the AI is helping me with content creation. It's not just that original content creation piece, but then adding in all of the components, right? So it's taking this and it's made it into a longer list. So again, I could edit and I can take things out if I need to. Something else that I can do, let's say here from the 4th page, I'm going to insert some flip cards. So I'm going to copy this text here and I'm going to do flip cards. And flip cards are my favorite. Every time I create courses, I always include flip cards. There's something about flip cards that I just find very visually appealing. And the way that it will do it is, well, it has, a picture, and then I click on that flip card and turns it around, and it gives me some information on the backside. So again, you can do all of that manually, or you can have the AI assist you, and you can always go back and edit. So there's created some flip cards for me. All right, so and for the sake of time, because I want to leave time and for questions, let's just say I'm done editing all the pages. I have added all the components, whether I added the components manually or I used the AI. Now I just want to preview, right? So I can, and it also creates an introduction for me with an image and all of that to the course. So let me go ahead and preview. So when it previews, you'll notice here at the top, there's 3 different ways that I can preview this content. I can see what this would look like on a desktop. And this is my first page here, right? This is the one that we edited, that we made shorter. We added an image. This is the next one here. We didn't do anything with this one, but I can also see what it would look like on a tablet. So if someone was looking at this on a tablet, what would that look like? And I can also see what it would look like on a mobile device. Right, so you can go through the, so all of the content, and you can see what this would look like. And these are the flip cards. Again, these are my favorite. So this is where it makes it interactive. I can click through. And then once you're happy with your course content, you can always go back and edit if you needed to change anything. But once you are happy with this, you can decide to publish. Now, if you publish it, that means you're going to make it active in Litmo, so you can start assigning it to your learners, or you can choose to export in a SCORM file 1.2. So although the Litmos content author tool is built in your Litmos LMS, it is your content, so you have complete control over that. And so we allow you to be able to export those SCORM files. So with that being said, we got about 6 minutes left. I'd love to hear any questions. I can't see the chat. So Paul, I'm going to rely on you to let me know what people are saying.
Yeah, no, so we did have some questions come through, and I apologize if I mispronounced his name. Pasadori asked, are the answers to your questions based on internal content or whatever AI finds on the web?
Great question. So it is going to be based on internal content. The AI, in the AI playlist and the AI assistant, when it's answering questions, it's only looking at the content that is in your Litmos instance and the content that is available to your learner. So it's not going outside to look and be at content from the outside, or so it's not able to answer questions. So let's say I'm asking a question on X topic. If there's no content available to me on that topic, the AI assistant will just not be able to answer it because it can only answer if there's topics available to me. But a great question.
Yeah, good question. So another question came through is there a report that can pull inquiries for the AI?
Yeah, that's another great one. So right now we do have a quick report. It's part of your Litmos reporting dashboard. And there is a report that you can pull up all the learners and you can see exactly how many AI assistant conversations they're having. So if you see a learner that's really engaged, asking the AI assistant lots of questions versus somebody that never uses the AI assistant. So we are able to give you data on number of conversations. In a future release, we will expand on that report and we will also include actual conversations. So if you'll be able to track, right, not only were 100 AI assistant inquiries, but what was being asked and what was the AI assistant responding to those learners.
Yeah, so some good questions so far. A couple more have come through. One of them from Beth Ann. Can courses have costs associated with them? Can those costs vary based on user type. So it's more of a question based on cost and content and user type for them. I can answer that. So we do have flexible packages that include various content libraries plus platform on different types of users as well, whether they're named users or active users. Named users meaning learners logging in on an annual basis or active users logging in on a monthly basis. So quite a bit of flexibility there. Would love to expand that conversation a bit more if you want more details on that. Another question from Scott. Is it possible to add instructor-led or virtual instructor-led courses to a learner's options?
Yeah, so Litmos is very flexible when it comes to content creation. So what I was just showing you today is our content author tool, which is the SCORM creator. We also have another way to build content inside the platform. We call that the course builder. The course builder includes the content author tool, but it also includes other types of modules. So a type of module that we have is instructor-led training. And that's if you are having those instructor-led training sessions, whether they're virtual or they're in person, you can include that as part of a course. A lot of our customers will have courses that have several components. For example, they'll start the course with a SCORM file where they're watching some video or answering some questions. Then that will be followed by an in-person or virtual training. And then that will be followed by, at the end, by a survey or an assessment. So you can certainly have blended learning where some of it is e-learning and some of it is instructor-led, all in the same course.
Awesome. A couple more questions. One from Brad. Can you provide your own learning objectives to the AI to build the content?
Yeah, so this is actually in the works. So right now, the way that you just saw, you couldn't do that, but I actually just saw last week on Friday, I saw kind of behind the scenes of what the team is working on, and that is coming next. So you are going to be able to put your learning objectives to that list. So you'll be able to contribute to more than what the AI is creating. So stay tuned for that one.
Awesome. And last question for now, from Quint. Do you have an e-commerce module?
Yes, we have an e-commerce module included in Litmos, and it's an exciting time for our e-commerce because there's a lot of enhancements on the roadmap to that module for 2025. So it's a good year if you're thinking about your next LMS, and e-commerce is important to you because we have a lot of enhancements being done to our current functionality.
Yeah, I concur. A lot of excitement behind e-commerce, and that really kind of wraps up all the questions we have. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to throw them out in the chat. We certainly are super excited to have the opportunity to connect with you guys. I know it's been a long day. You guys have been sitting through quite a few demos, but again, super excited that we have the chance to connect with you guys. So with that being said, if there aren't any more questions, I'll hand it back over to Alexandria.
Yay! Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you.
Litmos. This was awesome. I am going to drop into the chat for you all a couple of dates to keep in mind if you're interested to attend some of our demo days for the rest of the year. Thank you so much again to our sponsors today for sponsoring this demo day all about learning management systems. But if you want to focus on just AI, you didn't hear enough about AI, come to our next event in March. If you want to learn about coaching solutions or just general learning platforms or focusing on skills or emerging tech, we have stuff happening all year long. So come back and let us know in the feedback survey if there's something specific that you want that we're not getting to. But again, a big thank you to Skooks, SeerTech, IMC, LearnUpon, and Litmos for today. And you will receive a recording link. We have received that question many times, so you'll get an email out tomorrow. You'll get a link for being able to watch the whole event or to go back and jump to one that you missed. Maybe you weren't able to tune in all day long. We totally understand. But thank you so much to all of our attendees. We had great questions today. Thanks for your patience. If we did not get to your questions, we will, I promise that our vendors will reach out to you and follow up if we didn't get to your questions.